had the dream last night. I went to some place, some house or something, and then I ended up meeting my real dad. Found out that he was not my dad that I grew up knowing was not my real dad. And it was just some guy. He was like 6'6", big dark skinned guy. And I had met him for the first time. And I guess what I've been telling. I've been telling my kids all the time. Be like, it don't make no sense because I'm like way taller than my dad. You know, I was like, I don't really. I guess never felt like I really look like him too much. But my dad, Edward. But so I met this guy. I shook his hand and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, okay, so my mom, she lied about this, or, whatever. I was just thinking she got her own little, nobody's perfect. She got her own little deals or own little things that she might be, ashamed of. This was definitely one of them, keeping your son's real father from him his whole life. And she chose to be with my dad, chose for him to be the father instead of my real dad. So I'm talking to the guy and I'm telling him, because he was a basketball star. Oh, that's right. So I think it was like, so it went from the black guy. It went from the black guy to Allen Iverson. And it was like, and I was like in awe, because I was like, I don't know what happened. But I was in awe because it was one of my favorite. I was like, so I'm really, because it turned into Allen Iverson, one of my favorite basketball players ever. Pound for pound, he might be the best pound for pound for what he could do. But it was Allen Iverson, so I was like, so you're telling me, it's like people around and a crowd around. So I'm like, so you're telling me, Mr. Allen Iverson, that I'm really your real biological son? And he was like, yes. He was like, yes. And then I was like, okay. I was like, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? I guess I was like, that would explain some of my basketball talent and stuff. Then we was riding in the car. And it was. I don't think it seemed like I was in the back seat. It was some people in the car, but I was telling them. Well, actually, I think in the house I was telling my real dad. I was telling him, and it kind of seemed like a conversation that went from the house to the car. But I was telling him that I never really had a male figure. I never had a female figure in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like my dad. The man who I thought was my real dad, I was like, you wasn't here, and then he wasn't. My dad that I thought was my dad, well, he was halfway here too. So I was like, I guess there's, my Lord. I guess my Lord, I guess God wanted me all to Himself, because I never had no male figure, no male influences like that, like in my life ever. So I had to pretty much learn how to be a man on my own for the most part. So, yeah, he was like, but I was like, yeah, it must have been because God just wanted me all to Himself, He wanted to be the father figure in my life. I was like, I always have thought that, I was thinking that the other day. That's what it is. And anything else? I think that's it. I can remember. Interesting dream. I don't know what all of it mean for sure. I think that's my real dad. I think this is symbolic. That's why I crossed over from the guy who was 6'6" to Allen Iverson. And then when it went to Allen Iverson, it went back to the guy. And then the guy, my dad, supposed to be my real dad, the tall, dark-skinned, 6'6" guy, he was sad because I guess he had been this this basketball star, super cold, like NBA type player, he didn't have nobody to pass it on to, or I guess he didn't have nobody that followed in his footsteps. But I was like, well, you tell me everything that you know, and you already, don't worry about it because you got me. You can tell me everything you want to tell me about the game of basketball, and I can fulfill it. I can do it. You know what I mean? So don't feel disappointed. It's not too late, kind of thing. And that was the dream. I'll let you boy, man. So yeah, peace.